This is my second breakfast for August the 7th, 2018, and I haven't slept that well, 6 hours 34 minutes, but we just got back from a trip and where we picked these wild blueberries, and the picking is awesome. I did clean some green and some stems, so we picked these on Sunday and it's Tuesday morning, so I have to get these in the washed up and in the freezer straight away. But anyway, my oatmeal is about, well, it's a third of a cup of flax seeds ground up, and then oatmeal and one of those little sticks of cinnamon grounded up. So it's probably, I don't know, a teaspoon of cinnamon in there, and that's it. The blueberries, the flax, I would put burdock root, but I don't have any. But I should find some place to safely collect it, because I don't really want to grow it in my yard. I've thought about growing burdock root in peat bales, but put the peat bales this way, so that, because the roots are huge, I'm not exaggerating, probably that big around at the top, and they're a taproot like a dandelion, so getting that out of the ground is tricky. So anyway, I don't know about, there are quite a few of the green berries in the blueberries yet, but it was perfect picking, and I'm thinking I might actually eat the green ones too. I'll look it up to see if they'll cause some sort of problems or something like that, but I can't see how it will, like digestive upset or something like that. I don't know. Oh no, I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to waste a single berry. I'll just put it here and wash it and eat it. Oh my gosh, it hurts so bad. I haven't taken any leave yet because I can still sit like this. So, and I still have to get stuff done. I have to. I can't really sit like that. Okay, so I still have to get all my berries washed up, and the blueberries, although Grandma and I, we were picking dirty, as she calls it, and that's the way to go. Just worry about cleaning them later, because you just pick everything off the branch. And she said you don't want to wait any longer to pick them, even though there's still some green ones there, because once the leaves of the blueberries start to dry, they'll start to dry, and then they'll come off with the berries, and then you'll have more of a mess to clean up. But how she cleans them is she sets a fan on a chair, and outside. So she sets a fan on the chair, and then she sets another chair with a bucket on the chair, and then she pours slowly from one bucket into the other bucket with the fan blowing the leaves and stuff out, right? So then you end up with a pretty clean berry, and she doesn't wash them before she freezes them, because she doesn't like them to all stick together. But I do what I do, and I'm gonna wash them before I freeze them, and she thinks it's clean enough once you do the fan, but I'd like to wash them anyway. Anyway, so, and then they're ready to go into smoothies. If I wanted to, I could put them in small little freezer bags and individuals, and then put them in those bags into one bigger bag, and then I have smoothie ready size, and it wouldn't matter if they're frozen together. But I haven't had a problem with, some of them freeze together. For what I do with the smoothies, it doesn't matter. And I eat them this way. That doesn't matter either. But yeah, I don't like to take a leave very much, unless I'm not going to be doing anything that might hurt my back. I need to get done. I have to make sure my plants are all watered. I watered some this morning, And I watered one last night when I got back. But yeah, I just I have stuff to get done before I start to recover, and then I'll recover, and then everything will be good. I can't get comfortable. I don't know what she's talking about. But honestly, like, we went and we picked blueberries the one day with my grandma, and I guess my cousin Pierrette had invited us out to, and now he's going to, anyway, invited us out to her farm to pick Saskatoons at her place, but grandma was pretty beat by the time we were done with the blueberries. She has back troubles too. She's in a lot of pain, and anyway, she works like crazy. She's a very hard worker, and she always has been. Anyway, but yeah, when we went to pick Saskatoons, we picked them with my mom, and we were picking wild Saskatoon, not the cultivated ones. This year, as my family calls them, the tame ones. The tame ones are much easier to pick. You get cleaner. It's a cleaner pick. You get more fruit, and yeah, it's all around better. But I can understand why they want to, but I want to have the wild experience, and we picked some wild Saskatoons, and that's how I used to do it with my dad. We'd pick wild, and it's good. So my Saskatoons this year, though, we should have done the Saskatoons first. We should have went earlier, a little bit earlier, like half a week earlier, and pick the Saskatoons, and then pick the blueberries, and then it would have been better. That's all a learning experience, and we try to keep track of it. So put it on the calendar for next year that we should go earlier. Finding the wild Saskatoon is easy. There's so many. It's like, if you're in Alberta and you want to pick wild Saskatoons, you can just go out and find some. They're everywhere. But blueberries, that's a little trickier. So unless you know where to go, and my family does, like, I guess my grandma, she picks areas that her dad picked and stuff like that. So but I think it's a pretty closely guarded secret as to where these places are. So unless you know somebody who's willing to take you, I don't know if they are, unless they're your family. Who knows? Maybe there's people that you can pay to take you berry picking. Because, yeah, the blueberries are awesome. We got as much time once I learned how to do it properly, because I was picking too clean before, and James was picking way too clean and socializing a lot. But he's a very social person, so, and I'm glad he does. It's who he is. So anyway, but I'd say once I got the hang of it, picking Grandma's way, then I got as much fruit and as much time with the wild blueberries as the wild Saskatoon. I would have got more of the cultivated Saskatoon had we went to P8070136. And I would have got more of the Saskatoon, the wild Saskatoon, had I went earlier, because it was like most of the berries, maybe half of them, were already dried out. Or maybe it was a bad year for Saskatoons. It was certainly a good year for blueberries. Like last year when Grandma checked, we went to P8070136 because we wanted to go blueberry picking, but the blueberries were not good last year, so we didn't do blueberries. But yeah, it's funny. Like Grandma was telling me that there's a guy who sells the blueberries for $10 a bucket. He picks the wild blueberries and brings them in. My impression of what my grandma was saying is she thought that was a fair price or whatever. $10, it's not. These are, like, if you think about what you'd pay for a tiny little package of cultivated blueberries in the store, and these are so much better. That guy's really undervaluing his labor. And I guess my grandma used to pick for other people. They'd get her to go out, and it's like, okay, she has a bad back and she's on T4 for the pain, and she's picking. No way. That's terrible. I don't like her doing the work for me. She wants to, I don't really. I'm glad that she showed me where to go, because next year what I want to do is I want to go pick, and then I will go to visit her when I'm done picking and spend time. I don't want her picking for me, because I feel bad. I feel terrible. I don't want her doing that work for me, But she wants to do it because she wants to make me feel like I had a good trip, like a good haul coming back, right? And it's a good haul anyway. I have, my cherry tree produces a lot for me, and I get, whatever I pick it's great. Every time I eat this, I think, my grandma, So, or every time I have a blueberry smoothie or a Saskatoon smoothie or whatever, during the year, with all the stuff that I picked in, then I think about spending time with my family, right? And it's great. It's all great. I don't need, I could have 3 berries on here and I would still have that experience, you know what I mean? And I don't need her to work for me. I don't want that. I don't want that of other people. A lot of people, they want that. They want to take advantage of other people for their labor, and that's terrible. And I mean, I enjoyed picking the blueberries because it was nice. There was a little bit of a breeze, so the mosquitoes were only terrible, not horrendous. I don't know. They weren't that bad. They were bearable. And I bought a non-toxic mosquito repellent, which It said 12-hour protection. No. And it wasn't that bad for mosquitoes out there, so anyway, it was maybe 1 hour protection. Because at about the 1 hour point, everyone started complaining about mosquitoes. So I think it did protect for an hour, but not. It wasn't great. So I'll have to show you that product so you don't buy it. I don't recommend it. And again, like the next day when we went to pick Saskatoons, like a little bit of a breeze picked up. It's perfect. Blows the mosquitoes away. But with my back this way, it's very hard to do Saskatoons now. The blueberries were actually easier for me because I could sit down because they're low. And I can sit down, work, and then move a little bit, work, right? Because the sitting's easier than this. I can't stand. So with the Saskatoon picking, I have to move a lot. It's kind of ridiculous. If that guy was selling his blueberry buckets for $30 a pound, that might be fair. I don't think I don't like the system that way. I think if there's a lot of mechanization, if it's cultivated plants where it's an easier harvest or whatever. This is labor intensive, and labor should be highly valued. It's not. It's I don't like the thought of somebody working those long hot hours, and most of the people that put DEET all over because it's really mosquito-y area, right, that you're getting the blueberries out of. It's very moist, and anyway, and Saskatoon picking even, it's not as mosquito-y, but it's still. And so then the people who are picking are exposing themselves to toxic chemicals also. So it's not only their labor, it's the toxic chemicals. So like we were wearing sunblock, which is not great. But eventually I realized, oh well, you know, there's really not a lot of cover and we will be out here, so I did put some on, like my ears and stuff. I think I put some on the back of my hands. I didn't put much on. There wasn't a lot of exposed skin on me because, you know, I wanted to keep the mosquitoes off of me. But next year, James and I will bring our mosquito jackets, which, you know, I just bought one this last winter. I don't know where I put it. I'm going to have to try to find a sensible place for these things, because when I need them, I don't have them. But yeah, if you're eating wild, or if you want to eat wild blueberries, you go out and pick wild blueberries. That's what you do. Someplace where you're legally allowed to do so. Do not use other people's labor to do it. That is terrible. Don't like that at all. Saskatoons are easier picking, but still. Like there was a winery in like I might have to put some of my Saskatoons that I picked into wine because they won't be as good enough quality to eat. Because I was picking dirty. There was a lot of lesser quality fruit that I probably won't want to eat. But unless Annafred wants to eat some or something like that, we'll see. But there was a winery in Grand Prairie when I was a teenager. They were making Saskatoon wine. And I'm pretty sure everyone knew where they were getting the Saskatoons. But it's one thing, you know, to pick as a family. You go to, say, a provincial park like Saskatoon Lake or Saskatoon Island. What is it called? Anyway, been there 1,000 times. I've never paid attention to the name, so I'll have to. But anyway, it's very close to Grand Prairie, so anybody in the area, they go there, and you don't really want to swim there because you get. Anyway, the water's not. It's not good for swimming. You won't enjoy it. But it is a nice place to camp and go pick Saskatoons and have a good time with your family, right? Because they're all along. I mean, well, if you go there, you'll just be like, wow, so many Saskatoons. Like the first time I went there when I was little, I was just like, they're everywhere. It's all Saskatoon. And then you get the idea, you see like some nearby farmers' fields or whatever, and you go, if they didn't, you know, mow that down basically every year, that'd be Saskatoons. And you get this idea, and then you're like, could hay really be of better value than these Saskatoons? Because they're awesome, right? And like my mom found a couple bear bums, not bear bums, but bears. When they sit down, it's really cute. You know, it's if you're somewhere on your own and you're walking, it's a little unnerving when you find them, because you know they were just there because the grass is not, like, it's just pressed down, right? So you know they were there pretty recently. Anyway, but you find these, the grass is in the shape of a huge bum print. It's really cute. And so while my mom was picking, she found 2 big bear bums and 1 little bear bum. So sweet, eh? So, I don't know. There was at least 2 bears, because it could have been the 2 big bear bums were just the one bear just moved, right? But anyway, very sweet. and like talking to my family and stuff, none of them have ever had any problems with bears. Like, and they're out in the bush a lot. I mean, my French side of the family, they're hunters and stuff, right? They're out there all the time, never any problem with bears. And I've never had any problem with bears. Like hiking and stuff, a lot of the time you'll see evidence of the overturned rocks or whatever on the path, and you're like, or you'll see other evidence on the path and it's fresh, and you're like, oh boy, you know, they're here right now, but they're always there. They can keep out of your way for the most part. They hear you, and anyway, no problem with bears. But like I said, like I was talking to my aunt, and I told her about the cougars we came across on a trail once at Grand Cache, and I never want to come across cougars again. That is terrifying. Way too interested in us. No fear of us at all. Like you could tell they were wanting to hunt us. It was terrible. It's a bad feeling. Cougars, not. And my aunt said the same thing. Yeah, she'd never want to run across cougars. And I mean, it's beautiful for the first second, and then you go, oh no, right? Like you're thinking, like when we were on that hike, it was you take the same trail out as I always like a loop, because then if you run across something, you can go back the way you came, right? Rather than continuing on the loop or whatever, or if something's behind you, you just, right? But the ones where you go back and on the same trail, you're coming back and you come across, where are you going to go, right? So that was the case with the cougars. It was really unpleasant. But luckily there were a couple people that were on horses, and they had a couple horses in tow, and we didn't have problems with the cougars after that. But boy, they were stalking us there, and James had managed to scare him back. Like, he was loud and he grabbed a stick and stuff. But boy, oh boy, that's not fun. Cougars are not fun. Anyway, but nope, we had no problem with wildlife. We did see some evidence of moose, given where we were, and some, like with the blueberries, and some evidence of bear where we were. But you know, I've never really been scared of these animals. I've always lived, like when I lived up north, they're always there. They'd mind their own business, and anyway. I haven't had a problem with them. But when I'm out alone, and I come across, like, I used to be an IPM tech in Grand Prairie, and that's a very good job. It was a very good job to have. But